Here with me. I do not know what happened. We just had a major power issue and I had to switch power outlets, in fact. So if you're still with me, I was on the plate. Now I'm not. If you are still here with me, somebody please make a comment. I was just about to show you other tools besides a vibration plate, and I get to some of the questions that you may have specific to using this with cerebral palsy. So there's a little bit of a delay here in Facebook land, but if you are still here with me, thank you for your patience with our technical issues, and let me know that you're still here. I will resume. I just went over some amazing ways that you can use your vibration plate to target. One of the biggest problems that we deal with cerebral palsy is tightness in those muscles, that spasticity, and the amount of time that you have to spend gaining relief. So I tried to show you a few good examples. If you're just joining me or you're joining me late earlier on in the segment, I talked about standing on the plate, starting in a seated position, and I showed you how to target the hamstrings in a couple of different ways. I'm going to step into another realm of self-care tools. We are talking about vibration today, and a few of the other tools that I really find effective, but in a different way. There's never any one product that's going to be perfect for every condition, every application out there. The vibration plate, I coach and prefer. If you had to pick one, it would be a vibration plate, simply because it's got the additional advantage of weight bearing activity. So you can do exercises. Thank you for letting me know you're still here, Facebook user. Hello. On a plate, you can stand, you can do squats, you can do push-ups. So, but you can also use it for therapeutic applications. So there's the ability to have fitness gains when you're using a vibration plate. The other tools I'm going to talk about are when you really just straight up need some relief. And sometimes if you're dealing with a busy or a hectic lifestyle, you may not always be near your vibration plate to use it and get relief if you are using it for self-care. So my number two favorite, if I had to go favorites, the first being the vibration machine. My second favorite tool when you're dealing with vibration tool for cerebral palsy is a massage gun. If you are not using a massage gun now, you must be blind. They're everywhere. Everyone's got massage guns, and which is the best massage gun or setting for cerebral palsy? Again, it really depends on the person that's dealing with cerebral palsy and what you're hoping to accomplish. But what I like using a massage gun for in a general term is targeting those tight spots. Perhaps you don't have huge support infrastructure. You're not dealing with a therapist. The massage gun gives us the ability to target tough areas where sometimes if we've got weakness in the hands or range of motion issues, we just can't massage ourselves. So for the hamstrings, you can use, there's all different types of attachments with the guns, but what I like about using a massage gun is while you're using it to massage tight areas, just by physically hanging on to the gun, you're going to get relief in your hands. But if it's an issue, but you'll also notice long term, your grip strength is actually going to start improving. So there's always a dual purpose with vibration products. But while you're physically, like I say, hanging on to the machine, if you're older in life and you're dealing with arthritis, it's some of the things that are slowing me down these days, just by hanging on to the gun. I was saying to my husband the other day, I have a really bad part in my thumb as I've gotten older and used and abused my body. And if I'm not doing my vibration plate exercises, I notice it gets sore. We did a big drive this summer and it really acted up, but I also haven't been using my massage gun as regularly. And I was doing his neck and his shoulders the other night. And just by hanging on to this, I was like, oh, my thumb feels so much better. And I didn't do anything other than use the gun on somebody else. So as the caregiver, I talked about using the plate to keep yourself strong, your back and neck and shoulders in check. A massage gun is a great tool if you are a therapist, if you are caring for someone and you're doing this now for hours and hours and hours on those hamstrings or the neck. This is a really great tool to reduce the amount of time that you spend physically applying the hands now. And a lot of times you can get relief quicker. It gets deeper faster. If you're a couple caring for each other, sometimes the physical hands you just don't last as long as they need to get the spasticity or the pain completely gone. So for my moms and dads that are spending hours out there massaging those legs every night to get them straight, you need to check out and use a combo. While you're sitting them on the plate, you can use this on the tops of the legs or the shins or other areas that you may have concern. And we've done a bazillion different videos on massage guns, but just like a vibration machine, it has amplitude, so how much it's moving, and it has different speeds. So the slow speeds tend to be kind of hammery and uncomfortable, and we have this natural instinct that thinks we need to press that massage gun in. No, it's not your hands. You've got this cool thing that will do the work for you. What I want you to do, anybody starting with a massage gun for the first time, whether it's cerebral palsy or not, crank this puppy up to a mid speed and just skim. So you see, I'm going to try and get see how I'm skimming and my arm's not moving? This is me skimming the surface of my skin. This is me pressing. You see the difference? No, just skim the surface of the skin. Get used to how it feels. You're going to have itchiness, pins and needles, tingling on the vibration plate, as well as any of these, as it increases circulation and lymph. You'll get over it. You'll deal with it. It'll be gone in a couple of weeks. But consistency of use for any of these devices is going to be the key. For the hamstrings, there's a flatter attachment. I prefer, I use this round ball for everything. It's my go-to for everything. But a lot of my families like to use, there's a flatter surfaced head. It depends on which gun you're looking at. There's all kinds of different attachments, but I encourage you experiment with them. And something like this or the plate, you'll probably find yourself 3 to 4 minutes a night versus, 20 minutes an hour of massaging those hamstrings. I know I keep going back to the hamstrings, but anybody with CP knows why I'm going there. So other things. So this would be number 2. And this is just my preference. I'm not going to send you some study that says vibration plates are the best thing to get, then massage guns, because we're all different people. And guess what really makes the decision? You, on what you like and what you don't like. And unless you get experimenting and trying some of these tools, you're going to never figure out what that is. So big rollers and small rollers, a couple different shapes and sizes. Big bad boy here. Okay. What planning to treat? So if it's the hamstrings, something like this might not be ideal. Something like this might make a little bit more sense. Is it a little crook in the bottom of your foot? Something like this might work. Something like this might work. Different shapes, different sizes. I wish there was one roller or massage. We're moved on from guns, but these are rollers and balls, and they have their own place too. I do lots of different applications, from reducing swelling to pinpointing. But what I would say I love about rollers specifically for CP is if there's things that you're doing routinely, what I like that you can kind of wedge these in where you need to use them, and you don't really have to pay attention. Whereas with the gun, you have to hang on to it, or with the plate, you kind of got to pay attention because you don't want to fall off it. But if you're just sitting on the couch or at the office, or you're driving and you just need some relief, some of the stationary rollers are a really good way just to get a surge of circulation and lymph to the area to offer pain relief, increase mobility in a joint. You're going to have to experiment and see. For the price of these things, they're terribly affordable. Usually when you're dealing with medical equipment and things like that, I know many of you are just completely buried with costs. I'm not going to get into math, but it's millions of dollars a year that you're spending between wheelchairs and lifts. And, if I can find it in the aisles at Walmart, I will tell you what aisle that was in. And I always try to find a way to reinvent these exercises and therapy things you're supposed to be doing effectively at home. And what I love about a lot of the tools that Lifepro offers, are they the medical grade versions? Absolutely not. You can go spend $2,000 on a massage gun if you want, but the principle in how the darn thing works is exactly the same. So why spend the extra money? You're already, like I say, burdened with more than additional costs of caring for this condition. That you shouldn't be. So some of these homegrown tools that Lifepro offers not only are more widely accessible, but I'll tell you right now, if you ever have a problem with them, there's a company, there's a warranty behind these products to help you get the relief that you need. If you're using a massage gun or a roller now and it's your go-to for pain and it stops working, it may as well feel it's an eternity, a day or two when you don't have that tool to manage your pain. So one of the reasons I recommend Lifepro and do so much training with them is their products stand up against a lot of the abuse that I put out. But if there is a problem, which isn't common, my customers are looked after. I don't need to hear that their vibration plate wasn't working and they can't fix their back because I told them they're supposed to. So there's a couple of things. There's lots of these devices on the market, but Lifepro does a better job in offering some variety. They do upgrade a lot of their components. The quality is there, and again, I can't say enough about them being accessible in more than one country. So these are some tools that you can probably get on any Lifepro site, whether you're in the States, whether you're in the UK or Canada, and just sort of think about what you're looking at applying. Something like this might be better for the back. Something like this one I love for the ankles, for that heel cord that we were doing earlier. I love this for the heel cord. Maybe you're a caregiver and you just want to get, somewhere on the hip or the nape of the neck. So sometimes the size of the roller you select is really going to be determined on the body part that you're treating. Again, there's never one perfect tool for every application. But if you've got a couple of these tools, sometimes with these sessions that I do, you have these things and it's still sitting, you just never thought about it. You didn't think about using it for that, or you used it and you got into something else and forgot about it. So sometimes, just mixing things up or combining these tools together to give you that little bit of edge might make all the difference in the long run. Okay, so I think I've rambled your brains off enough. I want to come to questions. I need my caffeine. Where did I put my caffeine? I'm losing my mind. And thank you for those of you that if I lost anyone before the feed died there, I completely apologize. I'm going to go back to the bottom of my list because there's a number of you. If you're just joining me, today is all about using a vibration tool for cerebral palsy symptoms. Although, as I say, it's not always about CP. Spasticity is common to a lot of conditions out there. Swelling, nerve issues, neurological damage. So CP is the label, but the symptoms are very universal. And there's a lot of ways that you can manage these tools or these symptoms at home with these inexpensive tools yourself. So I want to get back down, like I said, at the bottom of my list. Lisa, I hope that offered a little bit of insight. So again, it's not so much the condition. It really depends on your son and what his mobility is like. Is it poor? Is he confined to a wheelchair? We need to figure out ways to do the exercises or the activities that he can do in this environment. So it's not so much a what the condition is, it's a what his physical ability is, what the weaknesses are, and building from there. So I hope that gave you a little bit more insight. Teresa, hello. You are a caregiver of a 29-year-old with CP and have been thinking of your vibration plate for myself due to osteo and osteoporosis. I have had customers go from osteoporosis to nothing. Just saying. Consistent, regular use. This is a weight-bearing activity. You build bones by bearing weight. This just makes that easier in less time. I've recently been diagnosed with, so haven't even thought of it for my son who has severe CP from Iowa. For those of you that are dealing with legitimate CP, if you are a caregiver, I don't give my time away, but I do have a CP support group. If you're looking for a coaching call, I do provide those separately, but I do have a like-minded space for those of you that are using a vibration machine, a little bit of medical, a little bit of Lifepro, and everything else you can imagine. But I do have a separate page link. I'm going to have Lauren drop that, but know that you do have to have the condition. I am not there to offer free weight loss classes. You have to be using a vibration plate gun or other vibrational tool to treat the symptoms. It's kind of a self-share page, but I do monitor the group. I'm not there just as a free access point. But if you are dealing with cerebral palsy, I invite you to join. You will have to answer some questions. Lisa says we do use it already. Good for you. Sometimes when you're dealing with a very complicated or a rare condition and your doctor doesn't really know it, and they don't really know the vibration machine, you kind of feel like you're hitting a wall. So part of the reason I'm out there and have been out there as long as I have is I just want to empower you with, I've been using it for 15 years with every kind of medical condition that's ever walked through my door. And I've never really seen more than maybe being overexercised a little bit. There's a lot of time and experience that has gone into understanding how to adapt. I'm kind of a translator, I guess, of anything. So how do I do this exercise I'm supposed to be doing on the machine? And the first step is just start using your machine and know that you're going to feel better regardless of what you're doing, and worry about the mechanics of the actual exercises once you just get used to how it feels, and your child likes it. I've never met a kid that doesn't like it, but like I say, sometimes there's an itchiness, and if you as a mom or caregiver are using it yourself, you'll understand what they're physically experiencing, and you can just explain it to them, and the fear is gone. I have we use the plate on his stander. Awesome. If you've got a standing, I have anything from punching bag mounts to yoga swings. It doesn't always have to be a medical device. Get creative. And I think you'll find that you'll save yourself a lot of money in the long run. A lot of the tools you have now will work with the plates or the guns or the rollers that you have. Mary is asking me what the G-force range is on the platform. Mary, I don't appreciate that question because we don't really talk in those terms, but G-force on Lifepro's plates and any vibration plate really depend on what amplitude and what speed you are using or for frequency. So it's not a number, and none of the research talks about 2Gs or 3Gs. Any research study is going to talk about a specific amplitude, a specific frequency, and it's going to be, there's different movement types, and different movement types have different frequencies. I talk always about oscillating. The best oscillating platforms in the world produce about 30 Gs of force, which is a whole other conversation because the average therapist does not understand how that doesn't hurt you. There's a lot of fear around the term G-force. So I'm sorry, I'm sounding a little bit offensive, but I am, when it comes to the G-force thing, people are fearful. And then there are companies out there that use it to market their product solely because they're capable. So you've got people that are saying G-force is bad. And then you've got companies that are saying, well, unless you have 30 Gs, then there's no point. There are different performance levels in vibration machines. And what Lifepro is what I would consider a consumer grade. If you want a machine that's capable of 30 Gs of force, you're probably looking at an $8,000 to $9,000 investment. There are other machines equally capable, but Lifepro tops out max setting. They're going to fall in the 5 to 6 G range. There are some companies on the opposite end of the spectrum that fearmonger. That's the word I'm going to use. That if you exceed 1 G of force, you're going to crush your bones and liquefy kidneys and organs. You know what? I've got machines up in the 30 G range. I've got machines that are less than a G. But what I can tell you is, standing on the floor, your relationship with the earth is 1 G. And what a vibration plate does through these frequencies and amplitudes and where you put your feet, it's never a definitive number because we're all doing different things. But in the range, if you can increase the exposure of gravity to your body, you're going to increase the effects of gravity. What those threshold ranges are, if you look at occupational stuff, it's going to tell you that anything more than 7, 8 Gs is harmful to the body, but it's a different thing. On a vibration machine, unlike a race car or an airplane, or a car, if you've ever hit the gas, I don't have a car like that. If you hit the gas and it throws you into the seat, that's G-force throwing you back into the seat. But in a car or an airplane, you're going in one direction, straight forward. So G-force in high ranges can be very harmful. The same reason that scuba divers and people like that have detrimental effects, because G-force is just pushing so hard on the body. Gravity is having such an effect. But on a vibration machine, it never really accumulates. It's multi-directional. So you're moving up and you get that G and your body's having to resist it. But then a split second later, you have like a free fall, so you're always moving. So all that the G force creates on your body when you're on a vibration plate, it kind of creates a pulse, or it forces the muscles to do something about it. So what that G force actually is, I wish, Mary, that I could give you a number, but it's a way big, complicated topic. I assure you, I can have that discussion, but I tend to confuse the issue and scare people off when I do talk about it. So G-force is a combination of where you're putting your feet on the plate and what speed level that you're using. That equates to an overall G-force, but none of the research or protocols talk about that. And there's so many variables, as I've talked in other sessions, it will never all be studied because there's just too many types of machines, too many types of movements, too many, in 15 years, I've never seen any ill effects on either end of the spectrum. I hope that makes sense, Mary, and I wasn't off on too much of a tangent. I used it as an opportunity to explain further. Deb Tiller, I use my vibration plate for my fibro and my venous insufficiency. Deb, I think you're in my fat disorders research group. This is awesome. That it's great for all of those reasons, and again, not necessarily condition specific. Teresa, for someone who cannot sit on a chair independently, would you be able to bring the vibration plate up to the wheelchair? Yes. This is what I want you thinking is outside the box. You'll have to try. This might be why you get a little one. So picking a machine sometimes isn't about the best machine. It's because you want it to fit under your wheelchair. I totally get that. And depending on the type of chair that you have, Teresa, if you get the foot pedals out of the way or off, if they're not too much of a pain to take them off, there's usually enough room to get the feet on and get started that way. And yoga bands, there's little bands that come with the straps. Just get creative. And, you might find your feet sliding a little bit because the legs are coming down at an angle. Put like a gripper mat or like a kitchen shelf liner or something to keep your feet stuck, or have someone hold your feet on. I could do this all day, but yeah, see, that's a really good way to at least get those feet moving in the lower legs. Let me know if that works out for you, Teresa. Host, thank you for posting that study. And my link, hello from Vegas. I think I started losing you guys just for then. I'm currently wearing a neck brace, which is very uncomfortable and annoying to wear. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. If it's required, you kind of need to. If you're asking if it's okay to use a vibration plate, I wouldn't stand on it. And probably every person out there on the face of the earth, if asked, should I use a vibration plate while I'm using a neck plate brace, would probably be no, do not. Most people are not equipped, and most companies do not employ people to support every a lot of times when you buy a piece of equipment, you also expect the company to be a medical expert in absolutely everything. And it's unrealistic. So I've just been doing this a lot longer. If you are dealing with a severe neck or spine issue, I suggest starting on a stool. And if you've never used a vibration plate, I wouldn't recommend that be your first experience. A lot of times people that kind of use it for this situation and that situation, it's usually coming from someone that maybe has experience using the plate. You're not scared of it. You know how great it makes you feel, and you want to get back to it. If you're just using it for the first time, post-surgery, post-scary something, it's usually not the best way to get started on a plate unless you're working with an experienced or capable therapist or trainer that knows what they're doing. Hello, Kim from Campbell River. Thank you for joining me. Just on your way to your children's appointment. Was happy to. Kim just got a new Lifepro on replacement. She's got, I can't even list. It would be another whole session just listing her medical conditions. She's a big fan, and you'll see her on Lifepro's page many times. Thank you, Kim. Have fun at the hospital, although I know you're not going to. I use mine for my shoulders, tend to relax my shoulders, and it helps me relax my shoulders. Facebook user, I didn't show you guys, and I don't have the camera set up to do it now, but when you're sitting on the machine, feel with your feet on the machine and you're sitting on a plate, put your elbows on. That's another good way to get the neck and the shoulders. That's awesome that you're doing that. I love it. Been using mine wrong. Great information. You're never using it wrong. There's never wrong. There's maybe a little less ineffective, but you're not going to hurt yourself. I hope whatever you felt you were doing wrong was you didn't know till you knew. And now that you know, you can improve and hopefully progress from there. Hello, Anne. I hope you're doing well. The little black ball, what can it be used for? I have one, but not sure. This one here, I like because it's little, like I can just throw it in my purse. For me, as I said, I have really bad arthritis in my thumb. And I'm sensitive to EMF. So sometimes I get Raynaud's symptoms where my fingers go completely white. I like having this with me, and I literally just hang on to it just to give me the vibration, because I can't pack a vibration plate in my purse all the time. I also like using this. I've got one spot where my sciatic just won't let go from this big car trip I did. Anywhere that you use a tennis ball. So if you use a tennis ball to get a tight spot, or maybe you use one to massage the arch of the feet. This little tiny one is good for those little nooks and crannies and just to specifically target treat, not just with the vibration, but it'll take a bit of abuse is why I like it. But yeah, I'll use this one right on the end of my butt cheek where that sciatic nerve just kind of flares, and then I'll use it under the thigh. But I like just I'm so crazy busy with all my caffeine and my vibing all the time. I like it for my hands. That's my favorite reason to use this one. I hope that helps. And then she's just posted a link. If you are dealing with cerebral palsy and you have a vibration plate, and you're looking for help, that it's just a like-minded community. Hi, Myrna. How do you change the battery on the little black ball? You don't change the battery. Mine's a chargeable one. So if you've got a Lifepro one, all of their devices are now lithium battery. So you should just have a charge cord to power this one up. This one's older. This one's about 2-3 years old. I think it was my freebie that came with one of the other things that I got. They've got a larger one too, but mine just has a little plug there for that. Can you see that? I think you can see that, Myrna. So depending on when you got it and what model it was, you might want to check with Lifepro, but it's just a lithium charge battery inside. If you're having problems with that, reach out to them, Myrna, and ask for some help. I hope that answers everyone's questions. Okay, I have rambled an hour. I'm so sorry that I died for 30 minutes in the middle of this, and there's now going to be 2 videos. But if you are dealing with cerebral palsy, if you have someone that has cerebral palsy, lots of information I hope I shared. I've done a couple of sessions on cerebral palsy, and there's blog articles and all kinds of things. I've shared my experience in many ways, and the only way that you become like me and know what to do to care for your cerebral palsy is start experimenting. I didn't know any of this until I started experimenting and dropped the fear and started realizing that really it's logical. It vibrates your muscles. It makes lymph and circulation move. So it's going to relieve the pain. It's going to release the spasticity. And if you're doing exercise positions on the vibration machine, you're going to get more effect in less time. So the reason for my rambling today was to hopefully plant some seeds, get you guys experimenting with some of the tools you may have, to maybe have you take the plunge on some of the tools you've been thinking about, because sometimes you just don't even realize some of the applications. They're endless. You just got to start playing. And if it's not another invasive surgery or invasive medical treatment, all the better. So they're affordable, they're accessible. If you haven't considered these tools now, you really, really should. You don't always need to go medical grade to experience benefit. Many of you know that already. So share this far and wide. October 6th is World Cerebral Palsy Day. If you knew nothing about it, hopefully you learned a little bit today, and I hope you have a fantabulous rest of the week. I will see you guys next Monday at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific for a new and exciting topic that escapes me at the moment. I'll talk to you guys again soon.